The arrival of the human ambassador. The Galactic Council's grand chamber stood in solemn silence, a place where the fate of the stars was decided, where centuries-old agreements were forged, and where the most influential species in the galaxy convened to determine the course of the universe. The massive dome of the chamber was adorned with intricate symbols of each of the Council's member species, casting a shimmering glow across the vast room. A low hum of ambient energy filled the space, resonating with the weight of history and the power contained within its walls. Yet, today, the air was thick with uncertainty. The representatives, usually confident and poised, now sat on the edge of their seats, whispering amongst themselves, their gazes flicking toward the tall platform at the head of the chamber. There was a distinct tension in the room, one that could not be ignored. It had all started with the humans, those curious and unpredictable creatures from a distant, lesser-known planet called Earth. They had somehow managed to achieve space travel in mere centuries. Yet, despite their technological leaps, they were a race still divided by nation-states, constantly teetering on the edge of chaos. Now, humanity had made a bold and unprecedented move. They were sending an unarmed ambassador to the Galactic Council. No weapons, no enhancements, no hidden technology. Only a single human, a representative from their species, would be arriving in a sleek ship to speak on behalf of their planet. As High Counselor Xanthbury stood before the council, his glimmering silver scales shone with a quiet luminescence, rippling in response to his growing frustration. He slammed his crystalline gavel against the podium, its sharp crack echoing through the cavernous hall. Instantly, the room fell into silence, every representative's attention focused entirely on him. His purple eyes glowed, piercing through the room with an authority that demanded attention. His throat sacs expanded and contracted rhythmically, an indication of his internal calm. But beneath it, a surge of concern rippled through him. "Order!" Xanth's voice boomed, reverberating through the chamber. "The situation at hand is unlike any we've faced before. Humanity has done the unimaginable. They've chosen to send an unarmed ambassador to us. We must respond with clarity, not with panic." Supreme Commander Teal'ca of the Warrior Confederation scoffed. Her heavily armored exoskeleton hummed with power as she leaned forward, her voice dripping with skepticism. "Clearheads, are you suggesting that we should welcome an unarmed species into the heart of our greatest institution? The humans may have mastered faster-than-light travel, but they are still children in the grand scope of the galaxy. This is nothing more than a ridiculous charade." The members of the council murmured in agreement, their voices a low buzz of suspicion and doubt. Among them sat Trade Minister Lyra Sunweaver of the Mercathi, her bioluminescent tendrils swaying gently, casting a soft glow across her features. The skepticism in her voice matched the mood of the room as she spoke. 3 cycles ago, they were fighting amongst themselves, barely able to keep the peace on their own world. Now, they come to us, claiming to represent their people, their home, without so much as a weapon to defend themselves. "Precisely why we must act with caution," Xanth responded, his tone calm but firm. His silver scales shimmered, shifting to a deep blue as he continued. "Their technology is erratic. In some areas, they are still in the past, burning fossil fuels as if they have not yet discovered the true potential of their planet. And yet, in others, they have advanced in ways we barely comprehend. Quantum communications, artificial intelligence, faster-than-light travel. These are feats that, even by our standards, are remarkable." At the far end of the long table, a representative from the insectoid species clicked his mandibles in frustration. His antennae twitched with a sense of disbelief. "They are a primitive species. How can we possibly allow them into the fold of the Galactic Council? They cannot even unite their world under a single government. They still engage in petty conflicts among themselves." The disagreement in the room grew louder, voices overlapping as representatives argued passionately over the implications of humanity's sudden rise. Xanth watched, his scales shifting in various shades as he processed the gravity of the situation. He understood the fears of the other members. Humanity's unpredictable nature was unlike any species they had encountered. They were young, chaotic, and volatile. Yet there was something in the way they managed their chaos that intrigued him. "We are not here to judge their past," Xanth declared, his voice cutting through the noise. "We are here to determine what they can bring to the Council. Their arrival could mark a turning point. If they are as adaptable as they seem, we must understand their potential before they understand ours." A silence fell over the chamber as Xanth's words sank in. His gaze moved across the room, meeting the eyes of each representative. There was uncertainty in their stares, but there was also curiosity. Despite the fear of the unknown, something about humanity's audacity, their willingness to face the galaxy without fear, intrigued them. It was then that Security Chief Nova Blackclaw rose from her seat. The Predator Leagues were known for their military prowess, and Nova, with her cybernetic enhancements and cold determination, was one of the fiercest leaders in the galaxy. She cast a sharp, calculating glance around the room, her organic eye narrowing in suspicion. "I have been analyzing the data we've gathered," Nova said, her voice a low growl. "Their ship is approaching. The human vessel contains a single life form. No energy weapons detected, no offensive systems, not even the faintest sign of defensive technology. It's like they are completely unarmed." The room fell into stunned silence once more. "What trickery is this?" growled Xanth, his mandibles clicking rapidly. "They're testing us, luring us into a false sense of security." But Nova shook her head. "I've run the scans 100 times, and the results are consistent. There are no hidden weapons, no traps. What we see is what they are sending." The tension in the room was palpable. There was no doubt that the arrival of this human ambassador was a matter of great importance, but it was also a matter of great danger. What if this was some kind of calculated move? What if the humans were so much more advanced than they appeared, hiding their true capabilities until the moment was right? "I don't trust this," said Lyra, her tendrils pulsing with unease. "This could be a maneuver to weaken us before they strike." Xanth remained composed, his scales shifting to a deep purple, reflecting both contemplation and caution. "We must proceed with diplomacy. We will meet them with respect, but we will not be complacent. The Council will remain united in our approach, but we must be prepared for the unexpected." The hum of the chamber seemed to intensify, as if the very walls were alive with the energy of the impending arrival. Xanth turned to Nova, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Chief Blackclaw, make sure your security forces are ready. We will not let our guard down, even for a moment." "As you command, High Counselor," Nova replied, her voice resolute. The massive doors of the chamber slid open with a soft hiss, and the representatives rose from their seats, ready to face what was coming. The fate of the galaxy was about to change. The humans, with their strange ways and unpredictable nature, were about to make their presence felt on the galactic stage. Xanth stood at the forefront, his heart heavy with the weight of the decisions ahead. He couldn't shake the feeling that this moment would alter the course of the stars, forever. As the Council prepared for the arrival of the human ambassador, Xanth's scales shifted to an unfamiliar color, one so rare it had no name. The color of destiny, the human ambassador's arrival. The tension in the Galactic Council's Grand Chamber had not eased. Even after the Council meeting, the representatives remained on edge, their minds restless with the knowledge that the human ambassador was approaching. Outside the great dome of the Council's station, the stars glittered coldly in the void of space. However, in the chamber, a profound unease had settled over the room like a thick fog. A sense of impending change was in the air, and for the first time in centuries, the Council was not entirely in control of what was to come. High Counselor Xanthbury stood at the window, his reflective scales glowing faintly, like the calm before a storm. He gazed out at the approaching human ship, a sleek, gleaming vessel with smooth contours, devoid of any visible weapons or defensive systems. The ship seemed to merge effortlessly with the stars, as if it were part of the fabric of space itself. There were no sharp angles, no heavy armor, just a soft, almost peaceful appearance. The lack of visible armament was not reassuring. Xanth had expected, even hoped, that the humans would have some form of defensive technology concealed within their vessel. But the readings were consistent. As Chief Nova Blackclaw had reported, there was nothing, just an ordinary ship, and the only thing extraordinary about it was its simplicity. Behind Xanth, the other representatives gathered in the room, their expressions tense, their gazes flicking toward the holographic displays that showed the human vessel's approach. Even the normally composed Xeno 99, the avatar of the machine consciousness, seemed agitated, its shimmering form flickering intermittently as though struggling to make sense of the data. "I don't understand it." Xeno 99's voice echoed through the chamber, mechanical and tinged with confusion. "Their technology is erratic. There is nothing conventional about this ship. It seems like it doesn't belong here." Telka, the Supreme Commander of the Warrior Confederation, grunted, crossing her arms. "What are we dealing with? Are we about to face an ambush? Or is this just another human trick?" Xanth raised a hand, urging calm. His scales shifted from silver to a quiet, meditative green. "We must approach this with clarity. The humans are not here to wage war. If they wanted to strike, they would have done so already. We are dealing with something else entirely, something we have yet to understand. Then why send an unarmed ambassador?" Telka's voice was low, almost a growl. "It doesn't make sense." "There's something to their unpredictability," Xanth responded, his tone thoughtful. "Perhaps they believe they can approach us with the strength of their diplomacy alone, or perhaps they are testing us." The room was quiet for a moment, each member reflecting on the possibility. It was a dangerous gamble. Humanity was placing its fate in the hands of an unarmed envoy, relying solely on their ability to negotiate, to persuade. Xanth's thoughts were interrupted as Nova Blackclaw's sharp voice broke through the silence. "The ship is within range. In moments, it will dock." The council members rose from their seats, their movements swift and precise. They had been preparing for this moment for weeks, but now that it was upon them, the reality of the situation was far more intense than any of them had anticipated. Despite the attempts to appear calm, there was no disguising the tension that crackled in the air. Xanth turned to face them all, his presence commanding their attention. "Prepare yourselves. The moment we've all been waiting for has arrived." The doors to the chamber slid open, and the representatives moved toward the viewing platform, where a large window overlooked the docking bay. The ship was approaching, its silhouette becoming clearer against the backdrop of distant stars. There was no ceremony, no grand spectacle, just the soft hum of the ship as it inched closer to its destination. Nova Blackclaw, her organic eye narrowed, surveyed the situation from her vantage point. "Something's not right. I don't like this. The ship, it's too calm, too peaceful. There's no urgency, no preparations. It's almost as though they expect us to simply accept them without question." "I'm inclined to agree," Lyra Sunweaver murmured. Her bioluminescent tendrils flickered nervously, casting pale blue light across the floor. "It's as though they are daring us to react. But to what end? Do they truly believe they can sway us with nothing more than a handshake?" "I've seen enough," Xanth said, his voice steady. "We proceed, as planned. Prepare to receive Ambassador Blackwood." As if on cue, the human ship moved into position and began to dock with the station. The connection was almost seamless, the ship's hull rippling as it aligned itself with the docking port, merging with the station's surface in an elegant and fluid motion. It was a sight unlike anything the Council had ever seen. The ship seemed to flow into place as if it were one with the station. No loud noises, no sudden shifts, just a serene, almost mystical fusion of metal and light. A soft chime echoed through the chamber, signaling the completion of the docking process. The air seemed to thicken with anticipation as the large doors to the docking bay began to open. The representatives gathered, standing at attention, their eyes locked on the opening door, ready to meet the human ambassador. For a brief moment, everything was still. Then, stepping through the doorway, came Ambassador Alexandra Blackwood. She was smaller than they had expected, barely reaching the height of Nova Blacklaw's shoulder. Her figure was delicate but purposeful, dressed in a simple blue uniform trimmed with silver. There were no weapons, no combat enhancements, not even a ceremonial blade or shield to represent her people's power. Her attire was unassuming, almost humble. The only adornment she wore was a small silver pin on her chest, depicting the image of Earth's solar system, a simple, elegant tribute to the humans' homeworld. The representatives stared at her in stunned silence. There was no grand entrance, no dramatic flair, just a lone human standing before the galaxy's most powerful beings, as if expecting nothing more than the respect that should be afforded to any envoy of peace. Xanth stepped forward first, his scales shifting to a neutral diplomatic white. "Welcome, Ambassador Blackwood," he said, his voice calm but laced with curiosity. "We are surprised by your choice of arrival. You've come without weapons, without armor, without any of the usual safeguards we've come to expect from first contact scenarios." Blackwood smiled. It was a small smile, warm and confident, as though she had been waiting for this moment her entire life. "I bring greetings from Earth and the Solar Federation," she said, her voice clear, yet carrying an underlying strength that seemed to reverberate through the chamber. "I come as a representative of my people, not as a warrior. My people seek peace, understanding, and cooperation. I am unarmed because I believe that the strongest weapon we have is our ability to communicate, to reason, and to empathize." Xanth's heart skipped a beat. Her words resonated deep within him, challenging his assumptions about the humans and their approach to the galaxy. It was as if she had no fear of the galaxy's greatest powers, no fear of rejection, no fear of anything but failure. There was an unshakable certainty in her eyes, an unwavering belief that her mission would succeed, no matter the cost. "Ambassador," Nova Blacklaw said, her voice filled with suspicion, "do you believe that your people's words are enough to sway the galaxy's greatest powers? Do you expect us to simply accept your offer of peace without question?" Blackwood did not flinch. Her gaze met Nova's, steady and unwavering. "I expect nothing more than the opportunity to speak. What happens after that will depend on you." The council was silent. It was a moment of realization. The humans had done what no other species had dared to do. They had sent an ambassador who relied only on the power of her words, her ideas, and her belief in diplomacy. It was a gamble, a dangerous one, but also one that held the potential to change everything. Xanth's scales shifted to a deep, reflective violet as he turned to his fellow representatives. "We will hear you, Ambassador Blackwood. We will listen to what you have to say. But know this, your arrival will not be the end of our questions. It will be only the beginning." The moment had arrived. And with it, a new chapter in the galaxy's history. The human ambassador speaks. As the last echoes of Ambassador Alexandra Blackwood's words reverberated through the Galactic Council's chamber, a strange stillness descended upon the room. For a moment, no one spoke, no one moved. The representatives were not accustomed to silence, certainly not in a place as powerful as this, where debates, deals, and decisions that shaped the galaxy were made in the blink of an eye. Yet, as the human stood before them, offering nothing but her words, the silence became almost deafening. Xanth Bree, the High Counselor, was the first to break the spell. His scales shifted from a diplomatic white to a thoughtful lavender as he addressed the room, his voice steady yet laced with an undercurrent of curiosity. "Ambassador Blackwood, your words have caught us by surprise. To arrive unarmed, unprotected, you place much faith in your diplomacy. But tell us, what is it that you seek here in this great chamber of the Galactic Council?" Alexandra Blackwood's gaze never wavered. She did not flinch at the intimidating figures surrounding her, nor at the piercing stares from the various species. Instead, she stood tall, her posture confident, yet her presence was somehow humble. "I seek a place for humanity among the stars," she replied simply. "We do not come here seeking dominion or conquest. We do not come with weapons or hidden agendas. We come as equals. Though I must admit, we are young in the ways of the galaxy. But we come with a heart full of hope and determination to contribute, to learn, and to forge alliances that will benefit all sentient beings, not just our own. Her words seemed to hang in the air, stirring a mix of emotions within the room. Xanth's scales shifted again, reflecting his deep contemplation. He had expected a plea for power, perhaps a desperate request for aid. But instead, the human ambassador spoke with quiet strength, a clarity that cut through the noise of the council's endless deliberations. Her unarmed presence felt like a challenge to the very nature of the council itself. A challenge that was both unnerving and exhilarating. "I understand your hesitation," Blackwood continued, her voice steady, but laden with sincerity. "We have made mistakes, many of them. We are divided, still plagued by our own internal struggles. But we believe that even in our chaos, there is something we can offer, a fresh perspective, a new way of thinking. Our species has found strength in our ability to adapt. We have evolved through conflict, yes, but we have also learned to cooperate, to unite for the greater good. We may be young, but our resilience is unmatched. And it is this resilience that we offer to you." At the far end of the table, the representative of the insectoid species clicked his mandibles together, a gesture of skepticism and annoyance. His many eyes locked onto the human ambassador with disdain. Resilience. How can a species so divided offer anything to the galaxy? You cannot even unify your own world under a single government. How do you expect to contribute to the peace of the stars when your own species is in turmoil? Alexandra's eyes never left as she responded, her voice cool but unwavering. "We are divided, yes, but that is not a weakness. It is our strength. Humanity thrives in its diversity, in its ability to create different systems of governance, to experiment, to challenge one another. In the end, we learn from our mistakes, and we grow stronger for it. We may not have a singular government, but we have a united vision, a vision to explore, to coexist, and to protect our world and the worlds around us. And that vision extends beyond our planet, to the stars." His antennae twitched, his insectoid mind working furiously to process her response. He could not deny the logic in her words, though he was not willing to concede anything just yet. But can you trust a species so unpredictable? How can we rely on you when your own leadership is fragmented? Blackwood nodded, acknowledging the point with a slight bow of her head. "We do not ask you to trust us blindly. We are not asking for your loyalty or allegiance. We ask for the opportunity to show you who we are, to prove that humanity can be a reliable partner in the galaxy. We will earn your trust, one step at a time." Her response was calm, but there was an intensity in her voice that made the other council members pause. It was the kind of determination that only came from a species that had survived countless challenges, a species that knew its flaws but also understood its potential. Trade Minister Lyra Sunweaver, her bioluminescent tendrils pulsing gently with thought, leaned forward. "You speak of resilience, of a united vision. But what of your technology? Your ability to contribute to the galactic community is of great importance. How can you offer anything of value when your technology is inconsistent?" Alexandra's eyes sparkled with something akin to pride. "Inconsistency, yes, but also versatility. We are still in the process of discovering the full potential of our technology. In some areas, we are still learning. In others, we are on the cutting edge. Quantum communications, artificial intelligence, space travel that can exceed the speed of light. We may not have the weapons of other species, but we have the power to create, to innovate. And that is what we offer." At this, Xanth's scales shifted to a deep shade of violet, an indication of his deep reflection. The human ambassador was not what he had expected. Her species was unpredictable, yes, but there was something undeniably intriguing about their potential. The other species of the council had built their empires through conquest and control, but humanity's strength lay in something far less tangible. their ability to adapt and create. "We have studied your progress, Ambassador," Xanth said slowly, his voice carrying the weight of the Council's collective knowledge. "Your technological advancements are indeed impressive, and your people's ability to overcome adversity cannot be denied. But you speak of cooperation, of a place among the stars. What does that truly mean for you? What do you seek from us beyond the chance to be heard?" Alexandra's eyes softened, and for the first time since her arrival, a genuine smile appeared on her lips. "We seek understanding. We seek collaboration. We seek to learn from the greatest minds in the galaxy, and we offer the same in return. We have much to learn, yes, but we also have much to teach. Humanity is not perfect, but we have learned that true strength comes not from control, but from unity, from the sharing of knowledge, and the willingness to work together toward a common goal." Her words struck a chord with many in the room. For all their differences, for all their power, the beings of the Galactic Council were united in one thing: a desire for peace, for progress, for the protection of the galaxy as a whole. In a way, humanity's plea, simple yet profound, spoke directly to that core value. Xanth paused, his scales shimmering as he considered the ambassador's words. "You ask for unity, Ambassador, but can humanity unite its people under a single vision? Can you truly overcome the divisions within your species and stand together with us?" Alexandra stood taller now, her posture unwavering. "We are not perfect, High Counselor. We may never be perfect, but we will try. We will unite, not just for our survival, but for the survival of every species that calls this galaxy home. We will rise above our flaws and build something greater, together." The chamber was quiet once more. The other representatives, each from their unique species, exchanged looks. There was something stirring in the room, a sense of something new on the horizon, a possibility that had never before been considered. Xanth's voice broke the silence, low but resolute. "We will hear you, Ambassador Blackwood. We will listen, and we will decide, not out of fear, but out of the possibility of what could be." With those words, the first step toward humanity's place in the galaxy had been taken. The journey was only beginning, but the path forward was now open.